What's going on, Big Bad Harmon?
Are we in the podcast top 500? No, not yet.
No. No.
Oh.
Negative. Why do you ask?
Because we have a PWI top 500 wrestler joining us tonight.
We do. The KingPin Brian Milonas will be joining us shortly. We conned him into watching a movie with a wrestling dog and a trainer monkey that is made for children.
Who picked this movie again?
That would be his good buddy co-host on the wrestling podcast About Nothing, Mr. Mike Crockett. Old Croc Socks.
I feel like he was punishing us at the same time.
Yes. Former guest of the podcast. He watched Knucklehead with us. And
Knucklehead was 10 times the movie this was.
That's true. It's true. Yeah, man, I don't know. We definitely get into it with Milonas. It was really fun to have him back on. He was one of the first pro wrestlers that we spoke to on our old podcast, and it was very cool to have him back on and kind of make him suffer with watching Russell Madness. It starred Johnny Mundo, Lucha Underground's own Johnny Mundo. Former WWE
starring
superstar.
Is a strong word, but
well, it's true. He plays the main. The
villain. Only star in this movie is the monkey, Hunk
the monkey. Yeah,
voiced by Will Sasso.
Yes, we love Will Sasso. Yeah, so we're watching Russell Madness with the KingPin Brian Milonas, and man, we share a lot of laughs. So before we dive in, let's get to some plugs. You guys can find us on Podbean and iTunes, Apple Podcasts. We are on Twitter at Main Event Pod, Facebook.com/Main Event Pod, and on Instagram at Main Event Pod. We have a Teespring store.
Yeah, we have a Teespring store. Just search the Main Event Podcast, and there's a hyphen in between each of those.
There it is.
And we've got the shirts, we've got the hoodies, we got t-shirts, long sleeve t-shirts. Fall's around the corner, even though it was like 80 degrees today. Tank tops still available, so stock up.
Yeah, hells yeah, they are. We have a brand new, brand new. It's been out for a couple weeks now. We have a little hotline if you guys want to give us a ring, leave us a message, cut a promo on us, what have you.
If you want to tell us how you think, tell us who you think is going to be the best match next week at the Limitless show. Question the answers. Tell us if you're going to go to the Pro Wrestling Takeover show in Gorham.
Yes.
Just, give us a ring.
Yeah, give us a ring. That number 929-260-3099. Leave us a message. Send us a text if you want to. It'll take text messages. Let us know. Speaking of those two shows, Harmon, Pro Wrestling Takeover, Sunday, September 24th at 3 p.m. at Spire 29 School Street in Gorham, Maine. It is their very first show. We had Ryan Waning on the show on this podcast a couple weeks back to promote the show and have some fun on the podcast. Let's see, ProWrestlingTakeover.com for your tickets. And man, this show looks to be pretty cool. They're introducing a championship belt right out of the get-go. In the main event, you got Fox Vineyard versus Mike Orlando for that. And then the rest of the matches on the card look phenomenal as well. You got Doods versus the Era of Violence with Chad Epic. You got Adam Booker versus Devin Blaze. You got Ali Rex on the card, Remy Blackheart, Kid Christian, Terrell Kenneth. The Sea Stars are going to be there.
Oh, I love me some Sea Stars.
Oh, I love the Sea Stars very much. Who else is going to be there? Flash Nick McKenna is going to be there. I believe he's taking on Terrell Kenneth. He's going to be there, former guest of the podcast. It's going to be a hell of a show. It's definitely a cool look at indie wrestling. It's going to be more cameras, more made for film kind of a feel to it. So I'm interested to see what they got. It's going to be really cool in their debut show. Also, that same very weekend, Harmon, I am super excited for this weekend because it's just going to be full of wrestling. You and I are going to be hanging out all weekend. It's going to be fun, man. We get the Limitless show coming up, 9/22. We get former guest of the podcast, former WWE champion Jack Swagger on the show. That's crazy, Jack Swagger coming to town. So it's Friday, September 22nd at the Westbrook Armory, 120 Stroudwater Street, Westbrook, Maine. Tickets, go to limitlesswrestling.com. And man, this card is absolutely stacked. Like all the big guns, man. We've got Joey Ryan on the card, Joey Janela, Teddy Hart, Maxwell Jacob Friedman, AR Fox. I mean, the list is crazy. Top Shelf's going to be there taking on Swoggle. That's a huge match.
Top Shelf is going to be having T-shirts for the first time too.
Yeah, very cool.
If it's the one I'm thinking of, it's designed by my girlfriend.
Whoa. I hope it is. I hope that's the one. I'll grab one. You got Ace Romero versus All Good Anthony Green as the main event. Special guest referee Brian Fury. That looks to be just a knockout, drag down, like just grudge match. They hate each other right now.
Yeah, they are not friends.
Yeah. The 6-man scramble, which we were a little bit a part of, kind of getting together here. We've got Jimmy Lloyd versus Josh Briggs versus Dick Justice versus Jeff Cannonball versus Smart Mark Sterling versus Mr. Grimm. God, man, what a great match that's going to be. Also in action is going to be Jay Freddy, John Silver, and LAX, which is another crazy, just a crazy add to this card. Cam Zagami versus Tyler Nitro. I mean, every match that I'm throwing out here is just like a dynamite match, a must see. Skyler versus Willow Nightingale. I mean, it's crazy, man. Massage Envy is going to be there. Main State Posse, obviously. JT Dunn. God, how it's, I'm just now mentioning JT Dunn. Crazy. So many good guys on here. The card is absolutely stacked. Super excited for the show. Again, go to limitlesswrestling.com for tickets. You got to get them quick. This show, I can't imagine it's not going to sell out. I mean, this is nuts. Got to get your tickets soon. One last plug before we get to the Kingpin. We have a partnership with Strong Style Brand. Super excited about that. You guys can go to strongstylebrand.com/main event pod, or you guys can use code main event pod at checkout. You get 10% off your order. Strong Style Brand is freaking awesome. They've got such badass designs. The wrestlers that they sponsor, part of the Strong Style family, are great. Guys like JT Dunn, Sammy Callahan, just awesome indie inspired apparel. It's great. We're really, really excited to be a part of Strong Style Brand. So again, use code main event pod. You get 10% off your order. And we get a little kickback from it too. So
10%?
10% off your order for sure. And like I was saying, we get a little kickback. So you guys, it's a great way to support this podcast and get some super dope gear at the same time. So go there, strongstylebrand.com. All right, Harmon, enough talking from me. You want to get to this movie? I know, right? God, so long here. Let's get to this movie review. Let's chat it up with the Kingpin Brian Milonas. What do you say?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Welcome to the show, the irresistible force and the immovable object, a 2017 Ring of Honor top prospect, co-host of the wrestling podcast About Nothing, our good buddy, Kingpin Brian Milonas. What's going on, Brian?
What's up, fellas? Good to be back, I guess, huh? Not good to be on, good to be back.
That's right. God,
I couldn't let Mike Crockett tie me in appearances.
No, definitely not. And this is in a weird way a little payback, because you recommended the movie Knucklehead for Croc Socks to watch with us, and so this is his recommendation, I believe. right back at you. So nice.
He might be sorely disappointed with my review of this movie then.
Oh yeah. I hope you loved it. That would be like completely foil his plan.
Remains to be seen.
Yeah, nice. So we'll definitely get into that in a few minutes here. But what's been going on, man? What's been going on with you? How's the life of a pro wrestler?
Busy, man. Busy.
Yeah.
I got a lot going on. I got the kiddos and, the real 9 to 5 and then the podcast. And then I'm going back to school and then wrestling. And so I got a lot going on, man. My schedule is pretty full from Sunday through Saturday, man. And I like it that way. It's a lot of, keeps me busy, keeps me out of trouble, I guess. And, trying to just get my name out there as much as possible in the wrestling world and staying busy that way too.
For sure, man. What are you going back to school for? What are you doing?
Business. I gotta, trying to be a smart guy, trying to be one of them educated folks,
Yes, absolutely. Cool, man. Well, good for you. And obviously, we see you kind of all over the place. You just took on Badass Billy Gunn, right? What?
I did, yeah. I did take on the Ass Man.
The Ass Man. How did that go down?
I've actually wrestled him twice now in the last month or so, and
oh, nice.
Yeah, it was a blast. He's a house. He's an absolute house of a human being, and he was so much fun to work with, and just a good guy to be around, and obviously, somebody with his level of experience and level of success. If you can't pick up something, then man, you probably should be doing something else with your life. So, just to be in the ring with a guy like that, pretty special. Doesn't happen all the time. And sometimes when you do get in the ring with guys of, that level, it's not always the most fun experience. But although I've been lucky, I've been pretty lucky when it comes to wrestling guys of that caliber with that name value, because they go in there and he wanted to wrestle, man. He wanted to go in there and he didn't want to mail it in, and he wanted to give it his all for the fans. So it was really cool, and something, man, I hope to do it again. I hope I lock horns with him again.
That's awesome, man. Yeah. It looked cool, man. That's great. So you catching any Steelers games this year or what?
Well, I didn't this past Sunday because I was wrestling at a mall in Springfield, Mass.
Oh, no.
So I was wearing out the battery on my phone, watching highlights and trackers and watching my fantasy teams and going out and fighting Wrecking Ball Legursky, and then coming back and seeing what happened while I was in the ring.
Nice. Well, you'll be proud of me. I dropped a ton of money on Antonio Brown this year. So
there you go. Wise move. What, 11 catches, 180 yards on Sunday?
Yeah, he got me 30 points this past weekend, and I definitely needed it because I also started Andy Dalton in my league. So
that's unfortunate.
That is very unfortunate. So Antonio Brown brought it back to me. Harmon, you're being very quiet. How did your fantasy team do this year?
I have two fantasy teams. I lost both games. One of them, I was starting Lev Bell, who got me all of 4 points.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Huh.
Hit or miss.
Did you ever see the movie Dumb and Dumber? Speaking of movies,
yes.
The part where Jim Carrey's like, "Man, you are one pathetic loser."
I love it. Good.
I heard you drop the big gulps, huh? Well, see you later. The other day on your podcast, I was like, I know that.
Oh man, that's
been a running joke. That's been a running joke amongst our group of friends now. I mean, for quite some time. Our big gulps, huh? Well, see you later.
Yeah, our buddy Tyler drops that all the time.
Oh yeah, I guess funny story about that line is that was just some random extra that they were told. Those two guys were just extras that I guess whoever the director was like, "Hey, don't say anything to Jim Carrey ever," while we're shooting. And so Jim Carrey just took it on himself to talk to those guys, and they didn't know what to do, and that's why it was so awkward because they got directions to not say anything. Well, see you later. So good.
Perfection.
Yeah.
perfection. Dumb and Dumber. That is cinematic perfection.
Yeah.
This is also just about the 1 year anniversary of us having you on the show last year.
Has it really been that long? Goodness.
You were our first professional interview, if you can call it that.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm honored.
No, you were. I think you were very nice to us a year ago. We were just kind of getting our feet wet, going to local shows. Didn't really know much of the local scene, and we were under the banner of a different podcast and different network and stuff, and we're a little nervous going in, meeting wrestlers for the first time. And no, man, I think we've said it to you plenty of times, but never too many. Thank you, man. You were super nice to us that night and made us feel at ease, and it was cool, man. It was cool to meet you that night, and we've had a fun kind of friendship ever since. So it's cool.
Well, I'll take any opportunity to bury Sean Burke. So anytime somebody would give me a platform to crap all over the entire existence of Sean Burke, I'm going to take it every time and be grateful for it.
Yes.
He doesn't really need it during football season. He's a Dolphins fan, so I mean,
it's true. Yeah.
He likes self-inflicted pain, apparently.
He's walking by, a rope, and he's like, is this the day? No, I guess.
Yeah. Oh, what a terrible team that's going to be this year. Oh, goodness. But anyways, hey, so speaking of movies, we were just talking Dumb and Dumber. Speaking of cinematic masterpieces, you watched Russell Madness. We made you watch Russell Madness.
You made me watch it too. I also hate Croc socks right now.
Yeah, I know. We were getting a text last night from you, Harmon, like
socks.
Yeah, he's an easy target. So the tagline to this movie was "The strongest tag team is family," which hey, sure, nice little message there for the kiddos, I guess.
Yeah. Do you guys curse on your podcast?
Oh, absolutely.
Tagline makes no fucking sense.
No,
it's completely nonsensical.
No, it's the worst. It got a whopping 4.2 out of 10 stars on IMDb.
And that's because a bunch of 6-year-olds voted.
What did it get on Rotten Tomatoes?
Oh, I don't know. I didn't check that out. Harmon's our go-to guy. Harmon will look it up as we speak. Let's see. It's directed by Robert Vince, who just has a slew of these Air Bud production movies, which was surprising to me. I didn't realize that Air Bud was this huge production company now. I mean, I knew of the Air Bud, whatever sequels and stuff, but I didn't realize that it became its own thing. Like the very first thing you see when you hit play on the Netflix is an Air Bud production thing come up, and I'm like, oh wow, that one movie turned into this huge thing that makes its niche, its theme is just putting animals in different sports scenarios. There's one
fun fact. I don't know if you fellas are fans of Full House, but I'm pretty sure that was the same dog that was on Full House. Comet.
Really?
The original Air Bud. Yeah.
No way. That's amazing.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure of it.
That's a
Big Bad Harmon. Can we get a research?
Yeah. Well, Harmon's our Google guy.
Research. He got a 38% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Rotten Tomatoes, 38%.
That's not as bad as I thought it was going to be.
That's the audience score. It didn't even get a tomato meter score.
Oh. Oh man.
I'm pretty sure not too many critics were reviewing this one.
No, there's actually not a lot of reviews on this movie on IMDb. Usually,
weird.
There's a ton that I can choose from. There's a lot of reviews or ratings, but not reviews. There was only 4, and they were really long, and none of them were really terrible. So I won't read any of this episode because usually I like to pick some gems, but they were kind of mediocre. Real quick, Robert Vince, the director here, he's most notable for MVP, which stands for Most Valuable Primate, Air Bud 7th Inning Fetch, and Snow Bunnies, all having to do with animals in different sports. So he definitely has found his groove in the
his
Yeah,
niche.
he found his niche in the world of Hollywood.
It's like in wrestling, a guy gets like typecast or whatever, and this guy, he knows his wheelhouse for movies.
For sure.
Buddy, sometimes credited as Buddy the Wonder Dog, lived from 1988 until February 10th, 1998. Was a dog actor best known for playing Buddy in Air Bud and for a special cameo as Comet in an episode of Full House.
Boom. Milonas coming through.
Milonas. Look at that.
I am a Full House aficionado, fellas.
House. Oh my goodness. What did you think of the reboot or the thing that Netflix did?
Oh, that's Stephanie Tanner.
Oh, about 4 episodes. I thought it was horrendous. The only redeeming quality was Stephanie Tanner's boobs. So.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, she's looking great. Yeah, Harmon's all over it. Yep. I think there's I don't know when it is in the first season that they came back, but there is a pro wrestling episode. I don't know if you've seen it.
Oh goodness!
Yeah.
No, I didn't see that one. I probably didn't make it to that. You know what I didn't like is it's funny. I love like raunchy comedy and things like that. But when I go to Full House, I don't want and things of that nature. And some of the jokes, even though I know they were going over my daughter's head, I was like, I'm uncomfortable. This is not what I watch Full House for.
Right? Yeah. Yeah. You want the family values, Danny Tanner. The soft music at the end, the life lesson. Yeah, I get it.
Yes.
No,
not so subtle sex jokes.
No,
I am scared to death every time Bob Saget gets on TV now. I'm like, oh, I know how dirty this motherfucker is.
Oh yeah.
I've heard his donkey joke. I mean, no.
Yeah. DJ Tanner does do a Hurricane Rana in that episode, though, just to let you know. And I did tweet her about it, and I never heard back. So, but hey.
Good try.
All right, let's dive in here. I was really just weirded out that Russell, the dog, is the narrator. This movie is all over the place with talking animals and who can hear animals speak. Like, they can hear the monkey talk, but they can't hear Russell. It's just so bizarre to me.
The monkey speaks.
I was
dog.
confused with that at first.
Yeah.
Yes, he does.
What's that, Harmon?
That was confusing me at first. Right. What animals can then the people hear, and that was confusing at first.
Yeah, it was all over the place. They do explain it later, which we can get into, but it's like a crazy science experiment thing.
At least they took the time to explain it, huh?
Yeah, they did. Yeah, which is nice. Even though it was wacky, I was like, oh, okay. So it kind of brings us into the movie, and he claims that he is one half of like the greatest tag team in history. But then, that's just like, he's like, oh, and then they do the flashback or whatever. And, they introduce Ferraro Wrestling Arena, and it's left to the Ferraro family, who I guess just like moves back into town. And one thing
it's like the grandson kind of moved away and forgot his roots, sort of backstory here.
Yeah, Nate is his name. One thing I didn't get, like right from the get-go. So the grandfather's will. The grandfather's passed away. He's left this arena to the family, but the catch is that they have to turn a profit in 1 year, and then like the building will be theirs. And like Nate makes a comment right from the start, and he goes like, oh, I just can't wait to get this over with, and then like get back to wherever they're from. And I was like, well, then why even attempt to turn a profit? Just leave. Like what the hell? Like, just say you don't want the building. Like, it just didn't.
Yeah, he clearly packed up his family, quit his job, and moved back to Portland, Oregon.
Right. Yeah. It was super weird right from the beginning. And then you get the monkey, Hunk is his name, just lurking about.
He's like Phantom of the Opera there for a little bit.
Yeah, and like
I gotta tell you, I got a confession to make, fellas. Yes. The first few times the monkey's on screen and in his clothes and stuff, giggled every time.
Did you?
He had the little wife beater and everything. Oh, it was great.
monkey in clothes, walking around, lurking around. Something about it.
Yeah, I like that he stole that costume that Nate's wife, I believe her name is Colleen. She gets out of um out of the costume area or whatever, and she's like, oh, what a cute little wrestler, and then you just see the monkey hand reach and grab it, what was it took him this long to find this, what's he been lurking around in, it's just so weird.
And Hunk the monkey.
Were you thrown off too? But how long do monkeys live?
Yeah, I was thinking that too, because this was his grandfather's monkey from, God, I don't know. When they did the flashbacks, it looked like the friggin' 30s. The way this building is designed, it's a very old.
Well, I think it was the 80s. Yeah, they did define at one point that it was the 80s.
Yeah,
but yeah, they make it look like the 80s were the 40s. Or
right, it's very antique-y looking, old timey wrestling. It's cool, I guess.
I would love to wrestle in that building. By the way, that building would be awesome for wrestling.
Yeah, and I made a note of that too. I was like, this building is actually in perfect shape if you just take the cobwebs away.
It looks like that building in Lowell that they did the NXT show at last year.
Oh, really?
What is that building?
It's got the Lowell Auditorium.
Yeah.
So we get a little bit of the history of that, and then what of the building, and then what Nate and his family are going through, and then they're kind of splitting time here back and forth between that and what's going on with Russell. So Russell is in a pet store, and he can't get. They keep saying adopted. I don't know much about buying pets from a pet store, but do you adopt a pet when you buy them from a pet store, or is it just like a hand over cash and then you get to take this animal kind of a thing? Because
it sounds better than slave dog.
Right? Yeah. No, it
dog
does.
from a puppy mill.
Yeah, and it definitely sounds better, but it was clearly like a pet store, and I don't know, the one guy was like, oh, he just can't get adopted because Russell's problem is that he pisses on people.
Yeah, that's my first note. My first note is leaky puppy Russell.
Oh, Russell. Yeah. And I like that the guy that works there who likes Russell, he's trying to sell it oh, this never happens, I'm really sorry. And then it's no, you know what, dude? This always happens. This happens all the time. I don't know what you're talking about.
How about the stream on that dog, though,
yeah.
huh?
That
dog is trying to piss on me.
Was powerful.
Dropped him like he was on fire. I mean, just...
Oh, God.
Yeah, the people just sat there and took it.
Yeah, why hold the dog up? I mean, just put him back in. It's so weird. So Russell, they show a little time swap where Russell grows up, never getting adopted. All these other dogs are coming and going, and no one's going to adopt Russell because he won't stop peeing on people. Which,
well, this is where the story really goes askew, because after about 6 months, poor Russell would have been put to sleep. So
that's true. Yeah. And do they really explain why he's pissing on people? He's just scared. Is that the thing? I don't understand it. I don't understand his deal with peeing on people. Yeah,
I don't either. Just nervous pup.
He developed it over time.
Yeah. I don't know, man. And then they, like I said, they're splitting time back and forth. So they kind of cut back. There's a scene where Nate is telling his son Max the history of Ferraro wrestling, and there's a little montage, like an old timey montage. And then they introduce the character Mick Vaughn, which is played by Cliff from Cheers. I don't know if you guys caught that.
Yes.
Cameo.
And 17 characters from Disney Pixar movies.
Yeah, yes, true.
Every single one.
And so they kind of explain the story of how the building and the promotion gets shut down. Very, very reminiscent of Vince McMahon buying out the territory.
By reminiscent, do you mean the exact story?
Yes, the exact story. Oh, and I like that his promotion is the WUF instead of
Woof.
WWF. It's what is it? Wrestling United.
Yeah, exactly. It's woof. Yeah.
Oh, woof. Like in The Office. Woof.
Did you just get that?
Yeah, I did.
Woof?
I didn't get that. I didn't get that.
Wow.
That's insane. That's how I don't know. My brain does not work like that. That's so
mind blown.
That's so cheesy that I feel like that couldn't be possible. That nobody would write it like that. And then of course they go ahead and do so.
I learned something right here that free hot dogs draw crowds. Just so you know.
Was that the deal? Free hot dogs?
Yes. When Max was putting up the sign, and his friends realized, hey, you're the family with the wrestling thing. And he's like, yeah. He's like, you want to come? And they're like, no. He's like, I'll get you a free hot dog. They're like, yeah.
Why were those kids so weird around him?
Not free tickets, just free hot dogs.
Yeah, the tickets are $40, but there's gonna be hot dogs. But why were those kids so weird? And why do they even know about that wrestling promotion? That seems so.
Yeah, it's been out of business for a while, right?
It's been out of business since those kids were born. I don't know.
So a bit of cosmic injustice is that Russell escapes.
Yes,
after being adopted by the worker. So
the worker.
But that's a great setup, though.
It is.
Remember that, folks. As we go along, remember the fact that Russell was adopted before he escaped.
Did being fans of films, seeing a movie once or twice in your lives, did you guys see that coming? Were you guys like, oh, he's adopted? Okay, this is.
As soon as they signed a contract somewhere, I was like, yep, I know what's going to happen.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, yeah, you figured it was going to come back into play at some point.
His name is Derek, by the way. Derek officially adopts Russell. But then Russell...
at this point, I'm 15 minutes into the movie, and I wrote, I hate this movie.
Oh, we got it, buddy. We got your text. Worst movie ever text from Harmon last night. Unbelievable. I don't know, man. 15 minutes in, I think it was a little premature to judge.
I would have rather watch that Dolph Ziggler disaster countdown again.
Oh my God. No, you don't say that. That's untrue. Let's see what else is happening here.
Dozer runs the alley. Why? Because he gets hangry.
Oh yeah,
does get hangry.
He gets angry. Yeah, Dozer. Yeah. He's giving Russell a hard time here.
And Russell is saved by Hunk.
And by happenstance, Russell just ends up in the alley of Ferraro Wrestling.
Yeah, just like right there. There he is. Why? You know what I'm surprised at is like how little convincing it took from the wife and like kid to have Nate like reopen Ferraro Wrestling promotion. Like, he just seemed like he didn't want anything to do with it, and his wife was just like, I don't know, these costumes are cute. We could do something with this. And then he's like, yeah, all right. That's a lot of work to.
Yeah, how about the ridiculous nature of how he starts to go about trying to find wrestlers?
Yeah.
I can just picture Randy from Limitless. That's how he was like trying to find talent when he opened up Limitless Wrestling.
Oh,
just cold calling. Hey.
Yeah, it's just cold calling.
Have you been to Bangor before? It's sunny and lovely and
oh yeah. I mean, they're using Craigslist, so the talent's gonna be good. It's safe.
They're lucky a bunch of hookers didn't show up for work.
It's true. Yeah, I can wrestle on Craigslist. I love that she went to Craigslist. Like,
like by name too. Like they didn't use like.
Oh yeah.
Let's go to David's list.
Yeah, I don't think Craigslist is. I don't think they care anymore. They're just happy to get a free plug. But Kingpin, I can't imagine you've ever offered your wrestling on Craigslist. I would.
No. I just spend time on the casual encounters page.
Yeah, that's where we spend time. Let's see. The first person to meet Hunk out of the family is the daughter, which has a very small role, I think, in this entire movie. Like in this family, like she really doesn't do much except for like meet Hunk in the beginning, which I feel like could have been written differently or written out of this whole movie. She didn't really need to exist, guys, in this movie.
It's just given that I think she's there to give you the
wholesome family.
This is the perfect American family.
Yeah. They are able.
We do learn a lesson here that comes back in later in the movie is the power of negotiation.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep. Yeah. She's a great negotiator, says Hunk. So they managed to like pull together a show somehow. It's show night. They've got Vic Vice versus Brady Malibu on here.
Who is more orange than Donald Trump?
Impossible, but
he looked like he was dusted with Cheeto dust. That's how orange he was.
What? Okay, do you guys have the same problem that I do when I watch movies about wrestling, about pro wrestling? Is that everyone except for like the wrestler is that wrestling is like a shoot, like every single.
Yes.
Like I don't. I mean, I don't know. I get it. It's for kids. Keep the dream alive. Protect the business. Whatever. But it's like, okay, it's a movie. We get it that these guys aren't gonna like really go out there and kill each other. But then in every movie, you have a guy like Vic Vice who's like unstoppable, and they have to like really go in and beat the shit out of him. It's just so strange to me.
This gave us my favorite character of the whole movie, the old man with the oxygen tank, when he yells out, "You're a boring tool.
You're a boring tool." Yeah. Oh yeah, and the two announcers, they just get like the same two guys to come back. Like, what are those guys doing like for the last 30 years? Just nothing, just hanging out. They're just like
one of them was a chimney sweep.
One of them was a chimney sweep. That's true.
He showed off all of his tools.
Yeah, during the lull of the show when Vic
this
Vice
is my
just...
boring tool. You're a boring tool.
Yeah, I did legitimately laugh at that part. One of the few times that I laughed, but that was good. Fred Willard is one of the announcers, which
yes,
man, that guy will just dude, he'll do anything. He will do anything for a paycheck. He's in like every movie.
How about the surfer here pulling the Ultimate Warrior move and holding up the promoter for more money?
Oh.
I got to find this promoter. $400 for that match. Good Lord!
Wow, and it's not like they're rolling in dough either over at Ferraro Wrestling here.
Yeah. How many $8 tickets you got to sell for that? I mean, geez.
Nice. Yeah, how many free hot dogs do you?
Well, do the math, Big Bad Harmon.
Yeah. And was this their only match of the night? It seems like I didn't see any other wrestling.
Every card seemed like one match, right?
Yeah, of course. Every card, one match. So Vic Vice.
I'll buy $40 ticket. I'm going to go watch one match for 10 minutes. And all right, well, hey, man, that was fun.
Dude, free hot dogs. Free hot dogs make people do crazy things.
Hey, maybe that's why Ferraro Wrestling died a painful death. They only had one match a night.
Right. And, those free hot dogs add up. You can't just be giving those things out and expect to make a profit.
And they only sold red snappers, and people from outside of Maine didn't know what they were.
Oh, my God. Nobody knows what red snappers are. So Vic Vice... what's the deal? Does he beat Brady or does Brady run away? I can't remember. Brady, I think, ends up running.
Brady runs away.
Yeah, he runs away. He's just out there like taking command of the ring. Like, I don't get that move either. Like, what's he doing? Like, what does he want? He's just out there. Like,
I can't stand the view of. It's such a 1980s view of like a heel wrestler.
Yeah.
Does he like beat up the ref for some reason too?
Right in the beginning for no reason.
Over his head or something.
Yeah, he does that on the way to the ring, and then out of nowhere, right in the beginning, he throws the ref out of the ring for no reason. Just gets back in the ring and officiates the match.
And what the hell's the ref wearing?
Yeah, he's wearing like a warm-up suit like they do in like the NBA.
He's like he's head to the gym.
Mike Crockett would be offended over that wrestling referee outfit.
Dog ends up in the ring with Vic Vice, and Vic Vice picks him up, and he gets peed on, and that's pretty much it. Dog wins.
Yeah. So how does Russell get in there? He got
chased by the hangry dog from
dog.
outside.
Yeah, he does a flip over him, which that was the first instance of like special effects I think that they used in this movie, and
other than the talking dog.
Well, I mean like action wise, like he jumps. So Russell jumps over this other dog, and he does like 5 flips, and I was like, "Whoa! All right, that's how the action's gonna be in this movie."
They used iPhone Movie Maker.
Yeah, exactly.
I told you.
So yeah, so he runs in, he pisses all over Vic, and he pisses on Vic for the win, essentially, and
they chokes him out.
Yeah, right. And then so what's the deal? Why does Russell pass out? What's his deal? I didn't really get that either.
That's later on.
I think he got like nervous type of thing.
Because it slows down and he like, oh, what's going on? And then he like passes out and then he wakes up in the back and like Colleen is, I don't know, tending to him. But
wow, you paid way more attention to this movie than you
well,
did.
it just seemed weird. I found that to be like a weird, an oddly written thing in this movie. I was like, okay, that seems strange that they would write that in there. Anyway,
so then Mick Vaughn, he's there and he wants the dog, and they say no because this is going to be hot. And then they find out the monkey talks.
And that's the whole movie.
Yes.
All right, let's wrap it up. See you guys later.
Dad says, hey, you're using words and things.
Is that woman? I think that happens much later. I think that they.
It is a little later. It's like after they already go. They go outside and like the press is there,
like out of nowhere.
and they tell them it got over 1 million views overnight.
If it was only that easy, right, Brian? If it was only that easy.
All right.
You throw a dog in the ring.
This dog had more of a fucking career than I've ever had.
Just out of nowhere, like somebody filmed it, put it on YouTube, and over 1 million hits, just like that. This dog is a star for pissing on Vic Vice. Unbelievable. And I don't know why, but at this point in the movie, I wrote down these two very cliche lines. I think that I don't know if it was in like a montage or something, but the monkey says he names Il Maniac. He says I guess his nickname was the Italian Stallion, which I thought was like, oh, come on, that's Rocky. What the hell's happening here? Can't rip that off of Rocky. And then somebody says, that cliche line, not the size of the dog in the fight, but the size of the fight in the dog. And I was like, oh God.
It was the dog that said it.
It's just, but I was like, that line must be in every single one of these movies, right? Like every single Air Bud movie, it has to be. It's gotta be.
This is when I realized that the monkey was in the movie more than the dog.
Yeah.
He should have been. The monkey was the star.
He was. They do the backstory now pretty much with Hunk. I can't even remember it. It was just like some crazy science experiment gone wrong. And
yeah, did you fully understand that? Like they were doing experiments on him, and he said he answered a question about a banana.
Yeah, and accidentally answered the question. Like he knew that he could talk and like was holding back, but then could not resist saying banana.
Yeah.
And did you catch the little like ball and chain on him when he escaped from his cage?
Yeah, well, because he says that they like put him in jail or something because of it. Yeah, he had a ball and chain on, and then he escapes very easily. By the way, like almost comically easily out of this facility. I was like, oh well, that seemed very.
How can you not be absolutely in love with Hunk at this point? Come on.
Yeah, Hunk is the man. Do you know who plays the voice of Hunk? By the way, anybody?
I don't.
Anybody?
Will Sasso.
Will Sasso. Yeah, wrestling fan.
Is it really?
Will Sasso, yeah. Yeah.
Will Sasso's career fallen on hard times, huh?
Yeah, I'm sure he got paid, in free hot dogs for this movie. So, let's see what else is happening. So Hunk has agreed to train Russell and Max for some reason. Max just is going to start training to be a wrestler. And then they have like a good lengthy training montage where I found it bizarre that Max was able to just run around Portland, Oregon, by himself with a dog and a talking monkey. Still,
how about the monkey's Segway? Come on.
What is that? What's the monkey's?
The monkey has a friggin' Segway.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, he's like riding around on that Segway. Yeah. Oh God, they just throw everything in this film.
I'm all in on the monkey, fellas. I'm all in on the monkey.
Like the Il Maniac and like the cup holder mounted to the front.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, the little Maniac doll. And then they're gonna have their second event here, and it's a battle royal. By the way, guys, it's a battle royal, and the Yeti from WCW is there, or the Mummy, if you want to call him. No, nobody, no chuckles on that one. All right, moving on. You didn't think like, hey, it's the Yeti from WCW. All right.
No, because he wasn't butt fucking anybody. So.
That's true. Yeah, him and the Giant were just double teaming Hogan. And I didn't understand how this worked either. There's a battle royal, the Mummy wins, and then
he immediately has to face Russell.
Yeah, so the main event is Russell versus the Mummy in the main event. It was very strange. And then
Russell just unravels him because that's how you beat a mummy.
That is how you beat a mummy. Before that,
How about the mummy's like hot, stinky breath?
yeah, the effects on that just comes out like this brown mist. Yeah. And then I love Hunk's advice, like, no, don't shake his hand. And then there's just like violence on animals in this movie, if you guys notice. Like,
yeah, he just like tosses the dog.
That was my first time that it like actually registered that I was like, oh wow, this is like abuse of animals. Like he's just throwing a dog's body around a ring. It's just rolling around. It was really strange. And then Hunk starts yelling, channel your chi. Was that a thing that I missed in their training?
Nope.
Okay, because I thought that was so weird that they just started that.
Yeah, he just started shouting, channel your chi, for no reason whatsoever.
No reason at all. Like he knows what that means. Channel your chi. And then
I was expecting Van Damme to be part of this movie after that.
Yeah. Rob Van Dam?
Either one.
That would have been
whichever one was higher.
Yeah. And I think it must have been one of the announcers, but somebody says, this is Russell Madness. And I liked that. I like when the name of the movie is said. Like, hey, that's the name of the show.
They said it.
Yeah. Yeah,
all right, so it was
happening. It's happening.
It was after this match that John Ratzenberger's character, what's his name, Mick Vaughn, offers him the contract, which they turned down, and then immediately a building inspector shows up.
Immediately.
Yes.
I want to make one note before this, though. I'm looking at my notes, and indeed, I did write down WUF, and now that I'm looking at it, it makes total sense, guys. Thank you so much.
Goddamn moron, Jungle.
Thank you guys so much for pointing that out to me earlier.
Did you also notice that in Mick Vaughn's office, he had a cutout of himself? Did you realize who?
Yeah, it's like a wrestler,
right? But did you know who his face was plastered on?
No.
That was an actual WWF cutout of a wrestler. It was Jack Swagger.
Was it really?
It was Jack Swagger. They changed his outfit a little bit, but it was definitely a Jack Swagger stand-up.
Oh, I'm gonna have to
John
go back
Ratzenberger's face on it.
Oh, Jack Swagger, former guest of the podcast. Hey, good callback, Harmon.
I'm just saying, like I watched it, I'm like, that looks awfully familiar. And he's like got his hands like on his hips and the tape up his wrist. It was definitely Jack Swagger.
Wow, good call. I gotta check that out.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're right. Bernie, the building inspector, shows up out of nowhere. It fails miserably.
Yeah, she gets electrocuted. She starts a fire. She gets slime out of a pipe. She gets powder out of 100-year-old water fire extinguisher.
I think so. Yeah.
And it's going to cost $63,000 to fix.
Yeah. So, like, just when they were on the cusp of turning a profit, they thought they were doing pretty well. The building inspector. Yeah, the building inspector shows up and ruins everything. So now they need a shit ton of money to fix the building. And so they go to Mick to front the money for all the repairs. And they form a deal with him that what's the deal? Russell will like go out on a tour or whatever and go like wrestle and stuff for Wolf. Is that the deal?
Yeah, but the home matches have to be at the Ferrara Wrestling Academy, and he has to put up the money to fix the place.
Yes,
but apparently he doesn't need to take the time to read the actual contract. He just signs it.
Why would you do that? Why would you read a contract, Harmon? Nobody reads a contract, right?
It was tiny print.
Yeah. Real shady stuff there, Mick Vaughn. Real shady. I wouldn't expect that from Cliff from Cheers.
Mick Vaughn.
Mick Vaughn. Here, this guy's a real Mick Vaughn over here. So let's see. So another like lengthy montage of like all these matches that Russell is winning and jumping on people.
Missing all the events that he said he wouldn't miss, like
right.
the son's birthday.
Yeah,
Easter.
Russell goes on a late night show. Yeah. I was like, what is this? He's on like a Jimmy Fallon type show. I was like, this is crazy. Come on. This doesn't happen. Does it?
And he does his finishing move to the host, and the host doesn't die like everybody else.
Right.
Yeah, the host is laughing.
Yeah, right. Talk about exposing the business, huh? Yeah. So then they get back from like this lengthy tour, and it just so happens to be Nate and Colleen's anniversary. And
my note here says, "What a disappointing father!" And he got her a sewing machine.
Yeah, he really came through on that though. Like, where did he find the time? Like, very strange. That just kind of appeared out of nowhere.
It wasn't even a new sewing machine.
Well, it was the one that she said her grandmother taught her how to sew on, and they don't even make them anymore.
Did her grandmother make gear at the Ferraro Wrestling Academy?
I don't know.
It all ties together.
Yeah, they're actually cousins. No, I'm just kidding. That'd be so weird. What a twist. It was the same model, though. The same model sewing machine that her grandmother taught her how to sew on, and they don't make them anymore, and blah, 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 blah. He got it restored. So she's like a complete 180 on being disappointed in Nate's gallivanting here.
Do you think Nate was hitting up any rats while he was on the road?
You know he was. That's like that's like on the deleted scenes on this DVD.
Like Dick and Russell in a seedy motel.
Hunk knows all the hot spots. He's like, oh man.
Oh, Hunk is definitely getting the rats.
Back in '86, we used to hit this place up hard.
Oh yeah. Oh man, you should have seen Pops. He was smooth with the ladies. And then
he could snort more blowing a night. Oh man.
Oh man, you know that's what Pops was doing back then.
Him and Kurt Hennig. Oh man.
Oh, that's 2 episodes in a row. You're bringing up Kurt Hennig. Unbelievable.
Biggest drug dealer ever.
Oh, wow, Harmon. So anyway, they go to the championship match. Johnny Mundo out of nowhere. Johnny Mundo's in this match, in this movie as the Hammer. And the only thing different is that his name is the Hammer. He does everything Johnny Mundo.
And he pounds his fist into his hand.
Yeah, like in sync to the music. Dink, dink. It's great.
I gotta give the Hammer props. I mean, 255 pounds. I mean, that's pretty. It's pretty amazing for as lean as he is.
Yeah.
255.
Yeah, and Mundo's doing all Johnny Mundo stuff. Like everything is exactly the same.
Yep.
Very funny to me. So Mundo gets bribed here. I'm just gonna call him Mundo. Is that cool? Oh, that's fine. Mundo gets bribed.
I'm pretty call him the Hammer, but
I guess we can call him Hammer. Call him Hammer. Hammer gets bribed by Mick. And he says, what round do you want me to go down in? Which I thought was such a weird choice because Johnny Mundo knows that there's not rounds in pro wrestling.
All right, this is another thing that bugged me.
Because he's indeed a fucking pro wrestler. Like, what are you doing? Like, why wouldn't you read that script, Johnny Mundo, and then say, oh, hey guys, you know what? I'm actually like a real pro wrestler. And I know that there aren't rounds. So maybe we could just make a little edit.
There aren't rounds unless this is a GFW show, and then there might be. So,
but I'm wrestling a dog.
And another thing, how many wrestling rings have 4 ropes? That was a straight up boxing ring, wasn't it?
Yeah. Again, I just thought that Johnny Mundo's an expert here. You think that he would be like, oh, this isn't right, but who knows? He was just there. Playing the main villain.
Collecting a paycheck.
Yeah, collecting a paycheck.
The turnbuckles had more duct tape on them. It looked like if you hit one of those, you'd be busted open immediately from just jagged edges of tape.
Yeah. Hammer uses a dog whistle in this match, an illegal object, which I thought was genius. What did you guys think about this?
International object?
I don't know what he cheated. He fucking did it right in front of everybody.
Yeah,
he didn't even try to hide it.
No,
everybody except for the ref.
Apparently, an object smaller than a football cannot be seen by anybody.
But everybody saw it except the ref. Like everybody's like, "Oh, what's happening? Oh, hey, he's got a whistle." Like, the ref's just completely.
Yeah, they're looking at it like dumbfounded. Like, what is going on?
You know how refs
what's
are.
Happening? Yeah,
I deal with one every week.
Yeah, that's right. So then the Hammer does not take the fall. The Hammer
picks up the W.
Yeah, he gets the pin here. Much to Mick Vaughn's disliking here. He storms out back and he's like, what's going on? You're supposed to take the fall. Hammer says, hey, people are going to pay for that rematch. Very smart from the Hammer.
Smart thinking.
Yep, smart thinking. But then the gig is up to Max and Russell because they find out that, hey, guess what? Pro wrestling is fucking staged, guys. You fucking dumb, you dumb little kid and you dumb little dog. But even still, like in this movie, it's still technically not. They're treating it as like somebody taking the bribe and taking the fall. And they're still not like admitting that it's like scripted and stuff. It's still very strange. So Nate says, hey, no more from Mick. And then, of course, the big blow is that Mick actually owns Russell, the fine print in the contract that you boys were talking about earlier.
That son of a bitch.
That son of a bitch, Mick Vaughn. I don't know why. Maybe because one of these puns were said here, but I said in my notes, I wrote down that the monkey/banana puns were almost too much at this point.
He loves bananas.
He loves them. I think he says something about like we got a split or something here, and I was like, oh my god, enough, hunk, come on.
The fact that the monkey's talking, that wasn't enough. It was the banana puns that put him over the top.
It put me over the edge. I don't mind a pun or two, but I feel like Hunk really went over the edge here. So Russell, of course, wants Hammer in a rematch, and then so they make a deal. If he wins, the Ferraros get the building and Russell, and pretty much the other way around if he loses. But then
you skipped a lot, didn't you? You skipped the breakout attempt by the kid.
Oh, what is this? Bring it.
Where the monkey uses the banana as a fake gun.
Oh my God! Yes, that's right. The monkey had a lot of experience with shadows. He's using shadows a lot in this movie to get what he wants, to make him seem like a person, and the banana as a gun. Yeah. I definitely must have checked out at that point. So please take it away, Harmon. Bring it on.
No, I'm sure during the week when he's not wrestling and training wrestlers, he does a shadow show at a coffee house somewhere.
Or the public library.
Could you say that he's wrestling with shadows?
Oh.
That is why you are the guest, Brian Milonas. Oh.
Yeah. How come this wasn't more true to life? How come there wasn't 4 guys peeing in a bucket backstage?
yes. Oh, goodness gracious.
This is where I've got written down that the pet store guy owns Russell, and this movie is 45 minutes too long.
You're like, oh, this could have ended right now and been fine.
Yeah, this would have been like a solid like Disney 30-minute movie type thing, right? Like
9 minutes.
What's the old Wonderful World of Disney they used to have on ABC be like a half-hour movie or something?
Oh, totally. Yeah, totally. I looked at the time of this movie when I started it, and I was like, oh, hour and a half. That's not bad. This movie felt like 3 hours to me. I was like, man, when's that hour and a half up? Because this thing's taking a long time. And I mean, maybe it's because I was watching it at 10:30 at night, and I much rather just have gone to bed. But for the podcast, boys.
Yeah. So the kid gets caught breaking the dog out with the monkey, and of course, Mick Vaughn's right there as a moment they're exiting the building, and so is the rest of the family. And they make
wait a minute here. So the WUF offices / arena is in Portland, Oregon, along with Ferraro Wrestling. Is that what's going on here? Because the kid just walks there. So
yeah, apparently.
That's definitely what they make it seem to be. So yeah, again, very strange. I feel like
I gotta tell you, fellas, I gotta move to Portland, Oregon. I think I could really make some money wrestling in Portland, Oregon. There's so many options.
They're paying guys $400, for
for one
match, and you apparently get to eat hot dogs, so it's fine. Yeah, you might get pissed on by a dog every once in a while, but hey, good money.
$400.
It's all right. I've done worse for less.
Yes. Yeah.
This is where they make the deal that
right,
because the pet store guy shows up also at this time.
Oh yeah, right, because the family brings them. Right,
he showed up at the door of the Ferrara Wrestling building.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah,
and he hands over ownership of Russell to the family.
Oh yes. And I remember,
even though he could have made millions in merchandise.
Right, yeah. Like he didn't just see him on YouTube and go like, "Oh, hey, that's my dog." Like, what the hell? And
can I ask a question of practicality? Sure. Why? Like they said the contract is voided, which to me, the whole context of the contract is with the dog. Shouldn't the entire contract be voided, including the building part at this point? Right? Should be roll credits, right?
Absolutely. This movie could have ended right now. Yeah. And I like that. I like the lawyer that Mick Vaughn just had handy right there, and the guy looks at it he looks at it like he's just reading the nutrition facts of a side of cereal. He just goes, yeah, this is
seems legit to me.
Yep, seems good. Yeah, they've got you.
And
here.
it's like a certificate that you can print off on your computer.
Oh yeah. And
it's like a certificate.
Yeah.
It's like you ever do something at work, you worked at a grocery store and you stocked the shelves well that week. That's they printed that up. That's the certificate.
Congratulations for facing all the shelves correctly this week.
This has teddy bears in the corner though. You got this off the internet.
Seems legit, McVaughn.
You didn't drop any pickles this week.
No. Let's see. So out of nowhere though, Mick Vaughn makes this a tag team match. This rematch. Which I thought was
why?
I don't know, right? I don't know why. He just
so stupid.
He goes in. It's going to be a tag team match. I was like, okay, that seems.
Was he expecting the dog to find another dog?
I don't know what he was expecting. I don't know.
Maybe he thought Hunk was going to step back in the ring.
I don't know. I was like, this is a Teddy Long move right here. It's going to be a tag team match, player.
It's going to be a tag team match. And the winner faces The Undertaker.
The Undertaker. I would have loved to see The Undertaker in this movie. Oh, God.
Yeah, why didn't they? Besides Johnny Mundo, why all these guys who are why did they not get more actual wrestlers?
I don't know.
Because they all have dignity, Brian Milonas. Dignity.
Yeah.
Well, I was only a phone call away. I would have been happy to be beat up by the dog.
Would you have played Dieter Das Munten?
Okay,
sure.
I had a padded blouse on. I'm just pointing that out.
Why such an awful character? Why? This is supposed to be they're pulling out the big guns here. It's a tag team match. He's gonna find somebody for the hammer, and he pulls out this fucking German.
Yeah,
wearing his
Lederhosen. Yeah. It has nothing to do with the hammer. It's not like they've teamed together before. They don't have. I don't know. I hate when guys just get put together.
That is the same guy that Nick called to go to his first match.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
and he turned him down because he didn't want to get blacklisted.
Do you think? Is it? Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah, that's true.
I just realized I paid attention.
Oh boy,
it's still stupid though.
Yeah. So
you think Johnny Mundo during the filming of this movie at this point was like, "Are you fucking kidding me?" I know I'm getting paid a lot of money for this, but are you fucking kidding me right now?
Yeah. How many times during production did he just look at his agent and go, "Dude, this fucking check better clear. I need this money right now for this."
I'm sure it was that he got to bring Tay at a set, and she loved dogs. And he's like, "Okay, I'll bring you. I'll bring you."
It's true. Let's see. So another thing I was kind of confused at this part is so Nate is gearing up to be Russell's partner. And then maybe I missed it and maybe it was just quick, but Max is just going to tag team with with Russell.
This is where all right. So Nate is the biggest pussy and the worst father of all time because the first time he's going to go wrestle, the dog takes his place. The second time he's going to go wrestle is 11-year-old son takes his place to go fight two grown men. Right. What father allows their family dog and their 11-year-old son, hey, yeah, go fight these two grown men who are professional wrestlers?
Right. Well, the mom was not having it. She was going to intervene.
Oh yeah, I wrote that down too. So like the match starts and like immediately mom interferes, starts hitting Hammer or Dieter, I can't remember, with her purse. And I was like,
disqualification right there.
well,
They would have
that's what
lost.
This is the first time they should have been disqualified.
right, exactly. Like there's like two more times that I was like, oh, okay, this is DQ, end of movie. Okay, DQ, end of movie. All right, well, there's the third DQ, end of movie.
Yeah. But the
yeah,
kid
it doesn't
cheats
happen.
nonstop.
Yeah, dude,
He kicks him right in the balls at one point.
yeah.
He
Russell
pokes him in the eye,
Max.
kicks him in the balls.
Yep, he's grabbing tights whenever he can. Like he pulls tights over the guy's head. I was just like, what the hell is happening?
Even the German guy got screwed.
They totally got screwed.
Yeah.
Totally got screwed out of this. I'll say this though. I did laugh a lot at like some of the action scenes, like Russell hitting the ropes. I thought was really funny. Just the way it looked. Like aesthetically, it looked awkward and very funny to me.
Like the kid did like a Mortal Kombat like Kung Lee kick across the ring.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, he sure did. Yeah.
Because that's what wrestling training does.
Right. And I love
He got trained by a fucking monkey.
yeah. And again, going back to like Nate's horrible decision, like, did that weigh his decision? Was it like, oh, well, I mean, my son at least trained for this and I haven't. Well,
The monkey. I let my 11-year-old kid get trained by a monkey. He's clearly prepared for this.
yeah, I let my 11-year-old son run around Portland with a monkey and a dog for like a week straight. And I guess he's ready to fight two grown men. One of them.
I gotta tell you, somebody should probably call Child Protective Services on Nate and Colleen here.
Yeah. And where's Colleen?
Horrible parents.
Yeah,
Oh, by the way,
where's
the
Colleen?
thing we haven't covered yet, they're just living in this wrestling building. Like, they don't have a house. Like, they're
Right.
living in the...
That's true. That's true. And what do they do
I
for
forgot
work?
all about that. Yes, they were.
But like, what do they do for a living?
promoters.
But come on, like, you know what I mean? Like, realistically, like, what? Like, how are Nate and Colleen feeding their children? Like, come on. This is
With all the bananas roaming around, there's plenty of food.
yeah.
Yeah, what about
plenty
the
of
monkey's
food.
demands when he made his demands to be the manager? He was like, "Yeah, I need like 12 banana smoothies a week and 16 frozen bananas, and I need fresh bananas with no spots." And
Yeah, and he had like special like banana popsicles or something. It was so weird. God, bananas all over the place. So Hammer tries the same old tactics. He gets the whistle out, and
Russell starts going down.
yeah, Russell starts going down. Although playing possum, spoiler alert, he has earplugs in.
I hated the fact that they let you in on it before.
Yeah, like that little moment where like he kind of lifts his.
So unnecessary.
Yeah, right. Wasn't like in the countdown. He was like the kid's like 5, 4. And it's like
Yeah.
why he can see him like jump off the top rope. Like just move out of the way. like, is he blind? I mean, he's got earplugs and he's just deaf. He's not blind, right? Come on. That made no sense. So yeah, Hammer jumps off the top, misses. Russell moves, he misses. Then it's revealed, he had earplugs in. Ha ha ha.
Or the ref could have just checked his elbow pad, like, because they knew he did it last
Right.
time, right?
That's true, right? Yeah, like where's he hiding that thing? Hey, Mundo, where are you hiding that thing?
Here's another nonsensical thing that infuriated me. This is a Hollywood movie, right? They couldn't have got a better belt than what Johnny Mundo was carrying around.
I know. Yeah.
Oh,
It was the hardcore championship.
Yeah,
It wasn't
wait.
even. So yeah, so that's it. Like Russell kind of Russell and Max get the win here. They get the arena and they get to keep Russell. And I guess Russell and Max go on to be the best tag team in the history of professional wrestling.
yeah, they're really setting unreasonable expectations for the life expectancy of animals in this movie, because Max is now a grown man and apparently Russell is still wrestling with him, and of a life, and the monkey's still alive doing it. Like,
Yeah, the monkey is just
The
he's just
monkey
an
is
immortal.
65 years old.
Yeah.
the monkey's like 40 something when the Max is a kid. Now he's an adult. Like, how old does this goddamn monkey live to? And the dog's got to be about 20. So
Yeah, because
Yeah.
the monkey was around when Nick was a kid.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He thought it was his imaginary friend.
Oh, so crazy. Yeah, they really you nailed it, man. The life expectancy on these animals are off the charts. And that's
Now that I think about it, though, it's my dream home. I'm gonna have a house with an apartment in the back and a venue in the front.
yeah.
Yeah, I would love to live there.
Oh yeah, it'd be amazing.
I want to wrestle at this building. I'm telling you, I would.
Ferraro Wrestling Arena. Yeah, and they just like all of a sudden, that was another thing too. Like all of a sudden, business is just booming again. Like the WUF just
They
goes
saved
away.
independent wrestling.
They saved it. Yeah, they saved independent wrestling. A dog did by beating Johnny Mundo for a crappy championship belt in a tag team. By the way, in a tag team, which again made no sense.
Yeah.
This was flourishing for years and years and years to come.
Years and years to come, and then they just then roll credits. I was like, oh, okay, well,
They wore the same gear for 35 years.
Yes. Yeah.
They wore the same gear from the 1940s the entire time.
Yeah, that whole gimmick of having a dog be your tag team partner just it never got old, not once. So I don't know, boys. I thought it was a fun movie. I thought it would have been better if I was like watching it with my kid, but as a 35-year-old man watching it at 10:30 at night when my family's asleep, probably not the best. Probably not the best scene in the old Kuchar residence here.
I was gonna say I didn't hate this movie as much as I expected to. I thought it was gonna be the bar was set pretty low,
right?
And it was it exceeded expectations, which is not saying a lot. I'm not saying this is a great movie. It just far exceeded the expectations I had for it. I'll tell you what, you put a couple of 6, 7, 8-year-old kids down and watch this movie, they love it.
Oh, of course. It definitely had a target audience.
35-year-old man.
35
Those buddy movies make $1 bajillion, man. I tell you.
I know. Like they've made so many of them. They must be successful. They have a whole franchise of them, the Air Bud stuff.
And I'm telling you guys, I'm being honest here. The damn monkey, I loved it. Almost every time he came on camera and had one of those witty little lines or puns, I laughed. I hate to admit it, but I laughed.
The monkey, I believe, is the same monkey in MVP, Most Valuable Primate. I think he might be.
Well, I may have to see that one.
I don't know. He might not be. We'll see. I'll check it out. It's gonna be the next movie. It won't be.
Did you do a bunch of movies with Thora Birch back in the day?
Who? The monkey?
Yeah. Same one?
I don't know.
It's not the monkey from Friends? No, that was
what is a monkey's life expectancy? Do we know?
I don't know, man. I don't know. Like, I want to see this monkey's like movie credits here. I wish he was. Is
that the monkey from Night at the Museum?
Maybe. Apparently, I think I mentioned this. Yeah, I mentioned this to you guys before we went on the air. The monkey, they used like 14 shots of the monkey, and they just slowed down the speed and sped it up just to like get more value out of it. Because I don't know if the monkey was like hard to work with or production value or something, but it's like a little like, did you know kind of thing or on IMDb.
The monkey shot.
We did fail to mention that the monkey at one point did say, well, I'll be a monkey's uncle, which I think is a necessity for any talking monkey in a movie.
Yeah, and then there was like the first.
I loved how Vic literally slipped on a banana peel to lose his match.
Yes.
Literally, the heel slipped on a banana peel.
One of my favorite lines was indeed a pun. I think it was when Mick Vaughn either is first introduced or maybe it's just an appearance. The monkey says, "Hey, who's this guy in the monkey suit?" And I was like, the monkey. Come on. Okay, so here's that trivia fun fact. It says the filmmakers reuse roughly 4 to 6 different shots of the monkey character throughout the film. Such as when the monkey raises his arm. To save money, these shots were slowed down, sped up, and also recut in order to make it seem like Hunk was doing different things than he actually was. So
it worked out pretty good for the monkey and the monkey's handler. Probably did 2 days of shooting, and you're in like 95% of the movie.
Yeah, Yeah.
I can't imagine the regulations when working with animals in movies. They got to be crazy, right?
Yeah, like I wonder how many dogs they used on set.
Right. Let's see. What did you guys think? Harmon, what did you think?
As the lone adult without children, I hated every second of this.
You despised it.
I did. It was just like it was 9:30 at night. I'm watching this movie. And I'm like, I could be watching the next episode of True Detective or something. You know.
Just don't let like local authorities see your history of Netflix, because here's a single fellow with no children. Why is he watching this movie?
Yeah. Allegedly,
don't answer the door if it's John Hanson, Big Ben Harmon.
Yes. I think my son would enjoy this movie, but then that would require me like watching it again or so. I think we're gonna keep that a secret.
I'm gonna bring it up to him and be like, "Hey, Quinn, you want to watch this movie? It's about wrestling."
No,
you're gonna have to watch it 95 more times.
Yeah. I'm looking at the cast and I'm like scrolling all the way to the end. Apparently, the Bollywood boys are in here somewhere.
They are.
They are. I don't know. I don't remember them, but they're in here.
So was like Davari or something. Wasn't he in this too?
I don't know. I don't see him. I don't know. But anyway,
they didn't have the racially insensitive Middle Eastern heel character in this one, huh?
No, they didn't. They stuck to really like cartoony villains, like Vic Vice, the guy from prison. He's breaking cinder blocks over his head, or like the Mummy.
Alls I know, if there's a sequel to this, somebody get me in touch with the director. I think I would make an excellent character in Russell Madness too.
I agree. I'm gonna talk to director Robert Vince right now, and I'll tweet at him, see if we can get your role in Russell Madness too. So cool. So that's it, boys. That's the movie. Jeez, I don't know what else to say about it.
Yeah, again, it's like, I mean, and Johnny knows when I don't know how old your children are, Johnny, but I have a 5-year-old.
My son is 4.
I mean, on the scale of things that you have to watch, on the scale of like Teletubbies to like Moana, like.
Oh God, yeah, absolutely. Like
there is a litany of things I'd watch Russell Madness over again before I'd want to watch again.
Absolutely, yeah. If like I would be give me Russell Madness over the Wiggles over. I'd be thrilled. I'd be thrilled if this is what he picked on Netflix over some of the stuff that he picks sometimes. So yeah, that's a good point. Very good point. So, all right, Kingpin, we won't take up any more of your time, my good man. Thank you so much for coming on. What's going on next? Where are you going to be? You got anything coming up you want to tell people about?
When's this dropping, fellas?
This is going to drop. This is going to drop Friday.
All right. So tonight I'll be in Woburn, Massachusetts for Chaotic Wrestling. And then next Saturday night, you can find me out in Western Massachusetts for Pioneer Valley Pro Wrestling. And then the very next day, I'll be in Worcester for Beyond Wrestling. That's the September 24th. So, and then I'm going to Disney World. So don't call me, I'll call you.
Nice. Taking a little vacation. There you go.
Yes, indeed. Our annual trek to the House of Mouse, as they say.
House of Mouse. Nice. Very cool, man. Where can people find you on the old internet?
Find me at Brian Milonas at Twitter. That's BrianMilonas. It's Brian M. Milonas on Instagram, and Facebook.com/Kingpin Milonas on the Facebook. And then of course at the WPAN on all forms of social media. We drop 2 podcasts a week. Mondays on the New Age Insiders Wrestling Network, and then on Thursdays on our own feed. Just search at the WPAN on any podcatcher that you like to fancy, and you'll find us.
Awesome, man. You guys are busy, man. 2 a week. Holy moly. You guys
yeah, Crockett keeps me busy. Crockett keeps me busy.
Nice. Awesome. Well, we enjoy the show. We enjoy the work that you do in the ring, my man. And we hope to see you again real soon.
Sorry, I couldn't get you voted into the 6-man scramble at the Limitless show.
Yeah, that's bullshit, man. That's bullshit. I won't be up there on September the 22nd, but hopefully I'll return to Limitless at some point, I guess. Apparently, just don't leave it to a fan vote, and I'll be all set.
But again, congratulations on making the PWI top 500.
Yes, screw you, Donovan Dijak. You think you're hot shit over in NXT, but your boy here is in the PWI 500.
Can't even make the top 500. I mean, come on.
The funny thing is, some people make a big deal about it one way, and then other people try to shit on it. And what it is every week or every month I would buy Pro Wrestling Illustrated, and the 500 was always my favorite issue. So I've been fortunate enough to be in the 500 a few times, and it's always cool just from a nostalgic fan standpoint of here's something that I read growing up, and it's one of those cool things in wrestling. Again, it doesn't mean a whole bunch in the grand scheme of the history of wrestling or anything like that, but to be part of something that I grew up with and look forward to every year, pretty cool.
Yeah, totally, man. Yeah. Awesome, man. Well, thank you again for coming on, and like I said, man, we hope to see you soon.
I kind of hope it burns Crockett that you enjoyed this movie.
I know it's got to, right? He's like, oh.
He will thoroughly bury me as he always does, but
yes.
And we want to have you guys on at some point here. We're trying to do. You made him sit through Knucklehead and me sit through Wrestle Madness. So we're gonna have to find a way to have you guys on and extract some revenge.
Oh, for sure. We're open to the challenge for sure. We'll take it. Nice.
I gotta comb my beard or something. I can't.
You got something going on that day? I'm up for it, man. I'm up for anything. So it'd be a pleasure to come on. So cool. All right, man. Hey, we'll let you get out of here. Thanks for coming on again, brother. And we'll see you soon.
Thanks, fellas. Take care.
Bye.
Thank you again to Brian Milonas for coming on here and being a good sport. He's always treated us well. He's on Ring of Honor now. I mean, he's all over the place. Chaotic Wrestling.
He's a good
wrestling.
Dude. He's one of my favorite people in wrestling. I love Brian Milonas. He's awesome. Big thank you to Brian for coming on and hanging out with us and watching a moderately bad movie that I'm sure he would not have watched if it wasn't for this show or Croc Socks.
He may have thrown it on for his kid at one point or another.
Sure.
But. Yeah. Not to sit down and watch it at 10 o'clock at night as a man in your mid-30s.
No, I'm sure he has much better things to do.
Like sleep.
Right. Harmon, that was a really fun episode, man.
It was more fun than I thought. I thought this was going to be just horrible talking about this movie, and it ended up being a very, very fun episode.
Yeah, fun episode. We shared some laughs. It's cool, man. Harmon, where can people find you on the old social media?
I am on Twitter at Harmon316 and on Instagram at Bub Harmon?
Yeah, I love that you ask. I think it's just Bub Harmon. Yes. Yep, there you are. I'm on Twitter at Johnny Fashion. You can check out the show's Twitter at Main Event Pod. We're on Facebook, facebook.com/Main Event Pod. And we're also on Instagram at Main Event Pod. Once again, strongstylebrand.com/Main Event Pod. Go there, get 10% off some sweet, sweet gear. You can use code Main Event Pod at checkout. And like we said earlier, we get a little cut of it. So it's a great way to support the podcast and get some sweet style into your life. If you like indie wrestling inspired apparel, it's very cool. They've got hats, some sweet hats, man. I love their flat brim hats.
Yeah, I'm gonna get me a flex fit, I think.
There you go. Yeah, there's.
I got looking at it. I don't know if I like the dad hat. I like the look of it, but I like a little more structure.
Yeah, all right.
And I can't rock the snapback. I don't have the head shape for it.
Yeah.
But the flex fit is my wheelhouse. So
yeah, I'm trying to get my wife into a pair of those leggings, man. I'm really trying to sell her on the leggings. I love the I love the Ring of Fire logo. I'm gonna probably get one of those T-shirts. Those are sweet.
I want your wife to wear some of those leggings too.
Thank you. I'm sure she appreciates that. So yeah, man, go there. They have tons of stuff. Shoes. They get just these sneakers now that are badass. They've got all kinds of fun stuff. So go to strongstylebrand.com, browse around, type in Main Event Pod at checkout, 10% off. You will thank me later. Big shout out and thank you to Follow the Fox, Sarah and Dylan, doing the intro and outro music for this very podcast. You guys are great. Thank you so much. If you guys want to follow their band, it's followthefoxband.com, and follow them on Facebook, facebook.com/followthefoxband. That's about it, my man. Let's roll out of here. I think we've covered all our bases tonight. You know, we've watched Russell Madness. That was the highlight. And we nailed all the plugs, I think. So
it was a good time.
It was a good time. All right, man. We are looking forward to that weekend full of wrestling that we mentioned earlier. Looking forward to it, brother. It's gonna be awesome.
Yes.
It'll be fun. So, all right, Harmon, thank you so much for joining me. Listeners at home, thank you guys for listening. As always, we'll catch you later.
Bye.
We're gonna talk about wrestling from today in the past.